Hello, everyone. We are live. Thank you for attending our Spiritual Seekers Talk. Hello, Toni.
Hi, Rachel.
How are you?
I'm lovely. You?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, live audience, all the amazing people that are here. Woo! We are super excited to be here today. Toni, what is our topic of discussion today?
What is it? Is that what you want to know, Rachel?
Yes. What's our topic, Toni?
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 We're talking about healing and consent.
Are your healing vibes consensual? Are they? So, Toni
Yes.
and I have mixed feelings about this topic. And yeah. So I'm going to have Toni start because I'm going to get feisty, everyone. And Toni's a nice one. And yeah. So, hello, everyone. I'm so happy you're here.
All right. So,
the answer is no. You guys need to have consent. Go ahead.
But we were talking about long distance healing.
Yeah.
Also.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't have that consent.
True.
Sending long distance.
Mm-hmm.
But I certainly think that you should have consent for a session, obviously.
Of course.
For, anything close by. I wouldn't put my hands on somebody in the shop without consent. But we were talking about sending it to somebody. Like, I am somebody that will send Reiki if I see somebody walking by having a hard time walking, maybe with, walking with a cane or something and just look like they're in pain.
Yeah.
I will send a little Reiki.
I will not.
So I'm the nice one. But I will send a little chokeray. Those of you who know Reiki, it's a little chokeray. And I equal that to someone
sending prayers.
Yeah. I don't use that word. So that's what I was talking about. Like, it's semantics a little.
Oh, okay.
Like, if somebody says to me, so-and-so isn't feeling well, say a little prayer for them. I'll be like, okay. But I don't go home and say, Our Father, or Hail Mary.
I don't do that.
I don't say a little prayer for them. I send a little chokeray. And I feel that, look at, she's like, ah!
Go on.
But I feel
Lay it on
that
me.
is exactly like somebody saying, geez, I'm not feeling well. And someone says, I'll put you in my prayers tonight. I feel that what I do is exactly the same.
Right.
But I mean, it gets to be a bigger issue. Does that person, so-and-so says, my mom doesn't feel well. But does your mom know that you're out getting prayers for her or Reiki for her?
Yeah.
And is she open to that?
Right. So for me, I feel like it's, it comes down to free will, and that we really need to have permission before we send any type of healing, whether or not it's, if it's in person because I have a one-on-one session, or if it's because, like if someone says, I want to send your mom healing or whatnot. Well, I want to ask my mom first, are you okay if someone sends them distance healing? And if that person says yes or no, then I'm going to respect their boundaries. Because I do think it comes down to free will. I think it comes down to consent. I think that we are very powerful beings, and that when we are sending energy to someone, you don't know what we're messing with. Like I might send energy to Jess, and maybe Jess has got something going on, and maybe I messed that up. You don't know. Or maybe I send it to Kyla and she's like, what did you do to me? Why?
But I feel that Reiki is always for someone's highest and best, and it's all about intention. So if I don't feel that when I send energy that it's going to do something bad, I trust the universe to send what's needed, or in the person also. If Jess isn't open Well, now we all know who's sitting here. If Jess isn't
We have an
open-
amazing live audience. Thank you very much. Best folks ever.
But I feel like they have to be responsible for their healing also.
hmm
So, and how much they take in. And I feel like the universe filters that for me.
I mean, I do agree with the fact that, you know, I can send out energy healing and that energy follows intention, and that if it's going to universe, and then universe is going to disseminate that healing to that person for their best and highest good. Yes. However, what about the people that aren't really trained, that are sloppy, that don't really have the skill set to be sending healing to people, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to send love and light. I'm going to send blessings to you. I'm going to send healing to you," when they really don't know what they're doing.
Right.
When it's jumbled up with like all of the other things.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like, yeah, I'm a certified practitioner. I've had a lot of trainings. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, but what about the folks that don't?
That's true. And we've had that conversation too about people who aren't trained. You know, you can't just take one class and then decide that you're a Reiki master or that you're a shaman or that you're.
Listen, I'm a shaman. I'm a shaman in my sleep. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, really, like you just
But
you
it
just don't
is
know.
dangerous. And it's why, like, even you take it with the psychics and mediums,
Right.
you know, you get somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And then that's when you hear, like, my customer will say, "Oh, I went to somebody and they told me blah, blah, blah." And it's like, oh my God, like nobody should ever
Yeah.
do that. You've had that experience.
I mean, we know
That's
we
horrible.
have people. Okay, we're jumping to psychics and mediums. We know people that have had terrible readings by people that have damaged their emotional being, like, and they've been called names or said they have a demon or say that they have something completely inappropriate. And you're like, what the? Where'd that come from?
Right.
It's because when you mix the idea of like currency and advertising a service of healing as something that it's not, like that can really jade the entire purpose of being a spiritual healer.
Yeah, I mean, I really think when we are healers and we are readers, you know, we do have to have integrity and ethics. And I do agree with you. I mean, in saying, like, if you're Chokeray, and I'm sorry, I'm not Reiki, you know, if that's what you kind of put to as I'm just sending a prayer, then that I can agree with.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. But to be throwing up Reiki symbols behind someone's back that they may not know that they're getting, and you know what I mean, that I don't agree with that, because I do feel like you're messing with free will. I always want to have permission. You know, if you know, like, I know I will go to you or you and say, can you send me some healing for my headache? But you say, is it okay to send it? And I'll say, yes, thank you. And I'll feel better because I know energy follows intention, and I know they're really good, you know, and I trust in that. But for other people, I don't want Joe Schmo to be sending me shit.
Right.
You know? No, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't.
I think that protection for all of us, everybody should know how to protect.
But what if you don't have protection up? What if you're not shielded up? What if you're just an open vessel? You're walking around and you're collecting healing energies, you know, walking down the street, and then your energy system's on overload, and you're like, oh my God, I'm tired. I don't feel well.
We all are, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, we really are, but we really need to, like, you got to protect yourselves. But I mean, then we're going off track here. So I guess what we should do is we should protect ourselves. But I do feel, my bottom line is I want to have consent for whatever I do, even if I'm doing a reading, if I'm doing a healing. I mean, even like prayer. Some people don't want you to pray for them. Right, you know, they're like, no, back off. Like that, you know what I mean? Like, and I want to respect those feelings. I'll send them good intentions. Okay, you go on, whatever you. I'm all. I feel like, okay, let's talk about witchcraft. All right, how many people have you known that they've tried to bind someone, or they've tried to curse someone, or I mean, that's getting into some negative stuff, and you can really damage someone,
right?
You know,
and we talked about people who don't know what they're doing in witchcraft. and are sending out negative thoughts and things like that, that's really bad.
Cancel.
Right?
Shields up. All right, we're getting some so someone says, so when I'm driving and I send someone driving bad to right is bad. I don't know what that means. Oh, listen, Rachel's not a Reiki person. What is it? So I'm driving by a choky right.
Oh, chokeaway. That what this?
It says choker. It says cho right.
Oh,
They probably meant to.
Oh, sorry. You should always ask permission. Some people actually like their drama. Okay, thank you. I like that. Some people do like the chaos in which they're in. Some people do like the drama in which they're in. Some people like to suffer within their misery and within their dis-ease and with their issues.
well, and I think some people, not everybody needs
Tony,
healing.
you know. Someone said
Some
Tony,
people
you know.
are learning a lesson or working through something. So
Yeah, because if you
that's a
take
reason
people
for
out of
consent.
their lessons, it's going to get even worse. Because then lessons repeat. If you don't learn the lesson,
right.
then the lesson's going to repeat and it's going to get louder and it's going to be slapping you up in your face. Like it's kind of like some people don't believe in, like maybe they don't believe that they should receive love, you know? And if I always fix it for you, I'm going way off track
Right,
here.
right.
But if I'm always trying to fix it for you
Right,
or
you're
something like
interfering
that,
with
then
the
I'm
lesson.
enabling you. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have a really bad outcome. Not nice, Rachel.
Okay.
Not nice.
Clear myself real quick, 'cause I think you're gonna be going all over the place.
Oh, we're fine. We go all over the place because it's us.
So the one example though I wrote down as people sending energy and
Yeah.
healing
Yes.
was the football game, the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, that's
Hamlin.
a very good part. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
I love that.
here the whole
DeMar
world,
Hamlin down and praying for him.
right? And whether it was nice to see the unity. You know, you had everybody, 49er fans, Cowboy fans, everybody was sending.
Him love.
But I had that second where I thought, I wonder if he's an atheist. But but I said obviously good thoughts his
Yeah.
way, and his family did make a statement. I think like on day 2, like
He does
keep,
believe.
keep
and,
sending,
yeah.
keep sending this energy, and da 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 da. And I was like, okay, that's good.
So
But it did cross my mind, like, all right, here's the whole world sending this young man
prayers,
prayers, and,
thoughts.
and probably healing thoughts
Yeah.
because my chocolate race going, But
So here, let me ask you a question. So because I don't do Reiki. So if you're sending out chakra rays, do you guys liken that to you're sending it up to God and then God is sending it to that person? Or are you sending it directly to that person's energy body?
the universe is channeling through
So
me. I'm not. I'm using the universe's energy to send out my chocolate ray. Don't you think?
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
right.
Okay. So then it's up to that person's energetic body whether or not to accept the healing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's always for their highest
But-
and best.
But
Yeah.
then
And maybe their highest and best is not accepting. Go ahead.
But
Yeah.
then what if that person then has a lot of healings and sitting at their spiritual field? Would that interfere with other things? Because if I have like 50 people sending me energetic healings for my best and highest good that I'm not aware of, and maybe I'm trying to bring in an energetic healing, how am I going to be able to extract exactly what I need if I have all of these intentions and rays and all of this stuff that's like kind of floating around in my spiritual energetic field?
Because your highest and best your spirit will help you do that. If you're open to that.
If I'm
If
open
you're
to it. But will it gunk up my energy field?
But wouldn't your intention be that you want to?
What if I'm focusing on one specific type of energy
And I
healing?
think it only gets in if that's.
Then how do
the
I get
one.
rid of it if I don't want it?
It just stays out there.
I don't want it to stay out there. I don't want all of
Out
these.
there in the universe, and it be recycled.
But do you know what I mean? It's like if I'm
So along those lines, I have a cousin. I always
Yeah.
tell the story in my Reiki class. I have a cousin, and I'll be like, "Do you want me to do Reiki for you?"
Yeah.
No. and
do you
she
respect that?
She has some health issues,
Mhm.
So she always says no to Reiki.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. But when I'm saying my intentions at night,
Mhm.
your prayers, I like include her. Like, just
Yeah.
I want the best for her. I want,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like here comes the Reiki, and it's
like
hanging.
a shower.
It's just hanging.
It's like a shower.
Because she's not right. She's not open to it.
Yeah.
She's not open. But
I'm
someday
gonna-
maybe she'll say, "Hey, Toni, can I have some Reiki?" And it's all gonna go.
It's just gonna download.
So I will say there's a comment. It says, I never thought of it as affecting me as far as their bad energy. I'm not liking it to bad energy or positive energy. I'm liking it just to
Clutter.
energy.
Clutter.
It's like clutter. It's like, honestly, it's just like clutter. It's like if I have 50 people sending me energy healing that I'm not aware of, and then if it's going to my energy field or to my higher self, how do I?
But do you really think that there's
50 people sending me energy? Yeah, because I'm that cool. Just kidding. No, I don't. But I'm just
like, I don't
thinking.
think most people on the street. Well, I think some people have high vibes and they're all happy, and
I mean, I will
everybody
say,
around.
like, remember, like, when we read The Secret or when we read The Magic, and it was all like when you're driving down the road, you give blessings to everybody that you're driving by. It's like, I bless you, I bless you, I bless you, I send you love and light, I send you love and light, I send you love and light. Well, it's trying to bring up your vibrations, So I'm just thinking about, in the sense of, if you do have all of these energy healings coming at you at once, how do I know that's not going to affect me negatively, positively, neutral? And how do I extract what I need for my best and highest good?
So I feel like when
she's trying to say something over there.
Yes.
Well,
in the back.
If 50 people sends out prayers, where is the energy staying?
Right.
In the prayer. I'm asking you. No, like
you're asking me. I feel like it goes up to God or it goes up to source. So it's you liken it to source. Spirit. Okay, let's just call it universal consciousness. And then I do agree with you. I think that we're all one and that we're all energetic bodies that are kind of like, we're working off of each other. So I'm not saying that it's negative or positive. Do you know what I mean? I'm just kind of like, I'm just trying to think more into this. That's all. I want people to pray for me, have, good thoughts and, whatnot. And I do think it helps raise my vibe. I think it helps me, but I'm just like, but then does it get gunked up on my energy field?
But I think that's.
Am I thinking too much?
Let's say you were out and about and you walked into a church. You walked into a church.
Yeah.
And so you would think that there would be positive vibes in the church, hopefully. And
no, I think there's some bullshit vibes in some churches. So let's be honest.
Let's say it's a nice one.
Listen, Jess is here, so I'm allowed to cuss.
I don't go to church, so I can. But you would hope. But as opposed to being in a place with really negative vibes. So if you choose to go into a place with a lot of positive vibes, how do you know, like, are you taking those in?
Yeah.
Taking them in?
I think it goes down to what you said in the beginning, that we do have to shield ourselves. I think we have to protect ourselves. It's kind of like there are people who probably send you negative energy without your knowledge. I 100% agree with that. And I can tell when people are trying to send me negative energy, because then I reach out to my witch friends and I'm like, I need a protection spell. So, and I do think that people do send us ill intentions and negative thoughts, and maybe unconsciously or consciously. And then how do you deal with that? Right. I think protection, shielding, cleansing your energy. Yeah. And it needs to be a daily spiritual hygiene practice. It's not just one and done. It's constant and it's daily and it's good practices in place.
That's very good. I was going to say,
and I think that's how you also accept an energy. Go ahead.
When you said how you clean your energy, I use selenite a lot.
Oh yeah,
or sage, but I take those selenite sticks and I wipe my auras off. And I feel like if you had excess energy, maybe
maybe I'm getting rid of it then. I mean, if you think about it. So we have all of these energetic bodies, all right? So it's my physical body, it's my mental body, it's my emotional body, it's my spiritual body. Well, that energetic body is going out 14 feet. So all of us sitting here together, all of our energetic bodies are bumping in with one another, and I'm taking information from you, you're taking information from me, and we're having this energetic exchange. And it's unconscious. Like, it's not a conscious thing. It's not like I'm sitting here saying, well, Lindsay. Lindsay's amazing. You should buy her art. But do you know what I mean? Like, she is amazing.
Or her daughter's Girl Scout cookies.
Or her, oh yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like, unknowingly, I'm borrowing energy from you and you're borrowing energy from me. So I will do a conscious practice of saying anything you borrowed from me, I send back to you, and vice versa. I reclaim back and I send back to you.
I like that.
Yeah, good.
All right, you got 1 point, Rachel.
I got 1 point. Yeah, gold. Woohoo! But no, I mean, I do think that we need to be conscious of the things that we are maybe energetically exchanging with one another. And I will say that I do, you know, if your intention is to go to the person for the best and highest good, I mean, I do think good intentions, that's a good thing, but I also want people to ask me for permission. It's almost like, did I ask you for consent there? Like, I'm not respecting your physical boundaries right here by laying my hand on you, bitch.
But you do it all the time.
But you know what I mean? Like, consent. Like, I feel like consent is really important. It's almost like, you know how you have the uncle that you see at your Thanksgiving dinner that you don't want them to hug you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a violation of your consent. And if you take it back to, I'm sending you energy, it's kind of, to me, it's like the same thing. Do I want an energetic hug from you? Maybe not. Maybe not. I like to, and I want to trust I want to use discernment of the people that I want, that I trust, that I value to actually like work. I might reach out to you and be like, hey, I'm going to book a Reiki session with you. Absolutely. Let's go. Because I trust her and I vibe with her.
Right.
You know, but maybe I don't vibe with Joe Schmo down the street. Yes, ma'am.
How does that work then for healers? Like,
healers.
So, like, let's say I'm asking
you
to do.
Yeah.
I've reached out to you.
Yeah.
And some help. I'm Kyla, by the way. And
hello, Kyla.
So if, let's say, I'm asking you to help me with some work, obviously being a healer takes a lot of energy out of you.
It does.
And most people, like a therapist or a doctor or things like that, like they need just as much as healing as somebody that is asking for them to do the healing.
So basically, how do we heal ourselves?
Well, no, how can a healer set boundaries for themselves to protect their energy while also discerning where they're going to be putting their good into?
It's a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, it's really setting up very strong energetic boundaries. Right. It's kind of, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the Reiki, we do things to protect our energy so that whatever we're taking is going to the universe. It's not coming out on me. So it's not tiring me in that way. Like if you have a terrible headache, I'm not going to get, our space is protected. It's there's protection all over. So when I take something out, it's off to the universe to be recycled.
My mother is a Reiki healer. She's master level 4.
So for us healers, we have to set up ourselves as channels. Yeah. So, and the thing is, when you set yourself up as a channel, is that you also don't take it on physically. So you have to kind of set up that boundary of, all right, I'm opening up, whatever I need. Like, let's say I'm opening up the records. I'm opening my records. I'm opening up your records. But then when I'm kind of pulling through the information, it's almost like you pull it outside of your body. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, but let's say, like, I do integrative energy therapy. So do you. What you take out, you reinfuse back in. So you remove, let's say, no, it's different with IET. So you remove heartache and you infuse in love. So, but I'm working with yes, I bless myself in the space first. Always set up a sacred space, and you always want to set up a sacred space. But with IET, I'm working with the angels. So it's a little bit different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like my mom, her healing is with her hands.
Yeah.
And she's like quantum with mixing with crystals and things like that. She's the reason that I've integrated spiritual healing in my life. And what I've noticed for my mother, because, my mom is on her own healing journey. And I think that as we're spiritual healers, there's got to be something through our growth that is the catalyst for that change for us, right? To go into the spiritual awakening. And
I'm trying to think.
And even so, like, I know that for my mom, she has to set up physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual boundaries to protect herself.
Yeah, everyone
And even
has to do
though
that. Yeah.
she's like far into her practice
Yeah.
and training, it's still difficult for her to not absorb all of the other energy because she's still working through her own.
It comes down to as a practitioner, everyone here right now is a practitioner. We have, so personally, you have to really set up very strong boundaries for what you're going to accept, what you're going to take on, what you're going to admit. Do you know what I mean? Because as empaths, we're also feeling all of that. We're kind of taking on that energy. And once again, it goes to, what are your boundaries? What are your energetic boundaries? What are you going? It's almost like with friendship. What am I going to allow in this for this person to kind of, take me as a friend or not take me as a friend? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So as a healer, it really comes down to boundaries and what can and can you not take on, and what am I going to allow and what am I not going to allow? And then I also, like, let's say if I'm teaching a class that's going to expend a lot of energy and I have to pull in a lot of energy, then I know the next day I'm not going to do anything. Do you know what I mean? Kind of what you can and cannot tolerate. And you also, it does take time to kind of be like, okay, well, today I did too much. Like, I'll be honest with Toni, I come down and I do readings at Toni Shoppe because she's the best. But I used to do like 8 readings in a day. I can't do 8 readings in a day. I can't expend that kind of energy. There's too much coming in. And I want to make sure that my client gets an amazing reading. So I've backed off on the amount of readings that I do because I know what I can and I can't do.
Everybody
And you
is
learn.
totally
It takes
different.
time to learn. Yeah, some people can do 50 readings in a day. I can't.
But just reading your people, then all your people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. And also think about like when you're opening up, like, for me, when I open up the records, think about how many people I'm pulling in when I open up the records. I'm pulling in your teachers, your guides, your past loved ones, your ascended masters, your angels. I am pulling in a whole team of beings, and then to have to filter through as to who you need in this current moment of now. Like, let's say Archangel Michael is stepping forward for you now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and to pull forward that and that one impactful message for you, just think about like how much energy I have to kind of pull in to be able to channel that to you.
And then also being able to set that energetic boundary of
Yeah.
not taking in all of the like inside knots and
Yeah, but that's also stuff that you can kind of dig into on a one-on-one thing. Do you know what I mean? I like what Laura said. She goes, I think the higher your vibrational frequency is, the better one can naturally transmute the energies that are around you. And I do agree with that.
Yeah. And the
she's got lots of notes. Toni does.
she's got articles. The other thing we want to talk
I'm prepared.
about was
I don't want to talk about anything else. I'm just kidding.
whether somebody will be open or not.
Oh,
if
yeah.
Someone is when someone books us for a session,
Yeah.
obviously they're giving us consent, they're coming
Yeah.
to it. But we also want them to be open to
Yeah.
healing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're not going to soak any of that.
They're not
letting
open.
that
They're not
in.
receptive.
And-
And it's hard. It's a harder reading. It's a harder healing.
How do you?
Because
how do you break
you have a
through?
wall. You
I-
have a wall up.
I
You
had
can't do it.
A client that wanted to come for Reiki, but I had my doubts about even setting up the session, because I felt like she didn't want to participate.
Yeah.
She wanted me to wave my magic wand
And fix
have her
everything.
be, ta-da! So I was like,
Oh,
I kept
you just
saying
brought up
no.
a good
I
point.
kept saying no, and we go back and forth, and I just didn't think that she was serious about it. And then she wore me down, and I finally said, "Okay, you can have 30 minutes." Okay, and then doesn't she not show? So I was like, perfect. Thank you. You know,
And I want to say, to your point, ultimately the healing comes down to yourself. So we're just a channel. You're just a channel. You're just a channel. You're just a channel. You're just a channel. All the healing that I need to do within. You are going to provide me with some tools. You're going to give me some messages. You may clean up some of my energy.
Right.
But ultimately, I decide, and I do think it goes into the consent. So ultimately, I'm going to decide whether or not I'm going to receive the healing. I'm going to bring it in, and then I'm going to energetically kind of move it along what I need to do.
Right. I'm not healing anybody.
No, we're
You
just
know,
a
we
channel.
talk about that in Reiki, not to get that ego in there. It's universe. I'm a channel.
I'm just a channel.
Not a channel.
I'm just a channel.
Toni, have you ever not disconnected from somebody's energy and then carried it?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Like
That's a good question.
After
Yeah,
I just
after a session.
no,
Or
I
even
don't think
after.
I have not had that issue.
I
I'm really
think,
firm about.
but have.
Cut you off, you're done.
She's like, I'm done with you. But I will say to that question, though, I do think that there have been times when maybe you have opened up something that has maybe brought up something inside of yourself that you do need to kind of look at and work on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Shower.
almost like,
Yeah.
ooh, like, oh, that's something I need. Like, let's say, okay, for being a healer, how many times have we not want to be visible as healers? We don't want to be visible. We don't want to be seen. And maybe, like, for me, that's something I've had to work on myself, you know, and it's maybe not even as a healer, just as a person, not wanting to be visible. Maybe. So, like, okay, let's go back to 2022, Rachel. Rachel 2022 did not want to be on video. Rachel 2022 did not want to kind of expand out. I'm going to cry. Expand out her spiritual gifts. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I had to kind of work through inside of me because I was insecure about my weight, about how I looked, about like I had a lot of insecurities, but that's healing work that I needed to dig in and do within. But I also had to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. I need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I had to force myself to get on video because I also know that source, God, whomever is pushing me along, I have a spiritual mission. Do you know what I mean? So it's a challenge. So you have to look within and kind of say, okay, what is it about right now that I don't feel comfortable with being visible? All right, well, it's because when I was 8 years old, my mom put me on Weight Watchers and I was told I was fat and I wasn't good enough and this and this and this and this. Okay, well, is it ultimately true? No, I'm a beautiful, badass healer and I have a right to be here. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but I had to work through that and I still have to work through that because I still have moments where I'm like, wow, that person is really beautiful and they've got it all put together and they're the best healer since sliced bread. Stop. But those are limiting beliefs that pop up inside of us. How many times have we had beliefs that run the back of our head that we have to work at? As healers, we're constantly having to dig within, go down deeper layers, you know, and kind of move through it and work through it. So I will say 2022 Rachel had a promise to herself that I was going to do that fucking show and I did it and I had to get visible. So, and now I feel more comfortable in video. Hello, everyone.
There she is.
But you know what I mean? I just want you to know, like, and I want to say, like, we may present as, oh, I've got it all together and this, that. But there are moments that we go into darkness, that we don't feel that we're above board, that we don't feel we have it all together, that we have to like honor our truth and what's within, but we also have to work through it.
Right.
I'm constantly every day doing some sort of mindset work, doing some sort of like looking at my limiting beliefs of why is this blocked? Why is this blocked? Why is this? And it's a daily process, but I feel that I go through this process in order to be able to help my clients and the people that my soulmate, because I love all the people I work with because they're all amazing, you know, and they're awesome people and they help. As I'm healing myself, I'm helping them facilitate their healing, but they're also giving me healing back.
Right.
All right, that's my long spiel. Good night and goodbye.
I feel that. We try to be the best channels that we can be so that we can bring the higher energy, higher
vibrations
for our clients. So yeah, definitely.
And I'll say 2023 Rachel is not bringing in any shit from 2022, and I don't want to listen to anybody's noise in 2023. That is the energy I'm bringing into this year. All right, because I don't want to, you know, I feel like, I mean, how many times have you guys all like, oh, well, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Well, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to listen to truth within. That's 2023 Rachel. Okay, question? No, it's not that. It's just I feel like I have to trust my inner voice, and I feel like I'm constantly going external when I need to go within. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how I feel. So someone asked me, or someone asked us, all of us, would you tell someone if something bad comes across in a read? No. I personally have the I want to say what comes across for me is more of a cautionary, and maybe you've got these two different paths, and maybe you should choose this one, but ultimately you have free will and you have the right to decide whatever you want. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I remember when you opened I called Rachel because I was having tremendous anxiety, and I had woken up one morning after trying to like self-soothe and sleep it off, and I woke up like in massive panic, called my mom, she was asleep, called Rachel because I trust her, and she opened up my records, and she told me like, you have a lot to learn still. And I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, thank you.
Rachel's a bitch. All right, guys, listen. Let me tell you, a reading with Rachel is reality check. No, I'm just kidding.
But it was very, for the most part, like it's much more positive than it was anything else.
I think as readers, I mean, and I think it goes back to, we've had readings where people have been like, oh, you're gonna die, or do you know, or you have a demon or something like that. I will never read like that. And I think that's going to integrity and having ethics. Right. And nor do I see that information.
Right.
More it's like,
because we don't deal with
that. I'm going to set the intention of the best and highest good and the best. And
we leave people with hope.
Yeah.
With a light.
I want people. Yeah. I want people, when they come to me and they come to you, like they come out feeling empowered, they have clarity, and they kind of, or if my girl Jess is coming to a reading, she's getting cuss words, but she's getting a nice kick in the butt because her guides are spicy. Right. But she'll warn me of it. Hey, my guides are spicy, and I know that. So if I'm getting fuck shit, bitch, I know it's her guides. So she knows I'm on. She knows I'm getting good. Right. Good vibes. All right. So back to our topic.
I want to bring up animals.
Yes.
With Reiki. So it's interesting because I feel like animals, they have wonderful boundaries. So I do a lot of Reiki.
Yeah.
And on
animals.
And and on animals and people, but the animals will tell you exactly what they need. So if you're working on a dog, I always tell my students, like, don't get discouraged if little Rover after 10 minutes goes wandering off, because he knows there's so much more aware than we are. Their energetic fields are so much larger that he's done for now, and he might just walk away, and it might be 30 seconds. And while you're talking to mom over here, here comes Rover back. Yeah. And I settled down and I like some more. Yeah. But they tell you it's awesome.
I like that. So they'll tell you exactly.
Exactly. Okay, I have to leave for a couple of minutes, where obviously most people will have a 60-minute session. But yeah, they get it, and they really like horses especially. I've done like a whole slew of horses, and this one's like, nope, not doing that today. It's like, okay. And you just, all right. And I can remember this one time I was doing it at a stable, and the owner's like, oh, and I was like, the horse who had been watching me the whole time. Yeah. When I approached, now turned around and gave me his butt. Huh. And I said, I'm coming back next week. And so let's see what happens then.
Mhm.
So the next week, it's all
Good
happy.
to go.
It's all happy. It's
Nice.
like, yeah, come on in. But they'll tell you,
Yeah.
and you respect that.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I wouldn't have worked on that horse with him.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So that's their consent.
Yeah, you can tell. So and it's funny because do you remember the first person to tell me this was Toni about plants? Asked them if they want to be picked.
Well, it's the same thing with crystals.
Right.
Yeah.
To come into the house, all right, do you want to stay out here or do you mind coming in the house in a vase? And asking permission for that.
So if I'm asking permission for the plant that I'm picking, why am I not asking for permission for the vibes and healing I'm sending? She did.
You be driving, you're gonna roll down your window. Hey, lady.
hey, I'm cutting you off.
Is that okay?
I mean, I've sent Reiki to and I hope we all do this. The fire trucks that go by, when I hear the sirens go, I send my chokeray after them because they're rushing, they're going to some kind of an emergency. An ambulance goes by, I send that little chokeray. So maybe that's like you.
Maybe it's like an emergent situation. It's kind of like, does anybody know what Hixney is? It's like a database where you can pull off electronic records for all the patients in upstate Northeast. So if in emergency situations, you can pull them without having their permission. So I kind of see where you're coming from. If it's an emergent situation.
That wasn't a chokeray.
Oh, excuse me.
Intentional.
That was light language.
Intention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, but I will talk to Chris. But your point about like for crystals, when you guys pick up your crystals and you work with them, do you ask them for permission? Like, because Toni, I now have a crystal that I sleep with every night. I love that crystal so much, but I asked its permission. So, and I tuck it in my shirt, then it always ends up down here. And then when I get up, it clumps on the floor. Actually, now it like stays there. It's very interesting. It almost fell in the toilet.
She was going through a couple. Then the other one did not want.
The other one was like,
no,
no.
not sleeping with you, girl.
No. The other one was like, I am meant to be used in sessions. So
they would tell you.
I do.
How do you hear the call back?
So for Toni is very. You say first, and then I'll say mine.
True.
How do you get the permission for the crystals that you like? This crystal right here. Like I know that you asked if she.
Yes. So this is interesting because I carried this in my pocket and I wanted to have it wrapped so it would be safe and I could wear it, but I asked it if it was okay with that.
So how did you hear the permission?
So I just sat with it quietly and a quick little meditation and did a body, like use my body as a pendulum.
So, it's like sentient.
So that was felt like I was getting a yes. And then I used another pendulum actually to ask.
You can use a pendulum if you want a physical thing. You could use a pendulum. Like that's what I did for the crystals. I was like, do you want to sleep with me?
Right. And then as soon as it was wrapped, I used
sounds so dirty. Hey, baby.
Oh God.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as she was wrapped, I asked whether she was happy.
And what did you get? Did you get yes? Because she wants to be seen, right?
Be seen.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, we're not allowed to touch that crystal. That's violating her consent.
She does not have permission to touch.
I wasn't raised as a human being like to understand boundaries very well. So it's something that like I've been unlearning and relearning, and it's really tough. But like one thing with my mom's crystals and things, like I learned very, very early on that like you are not to touch somebody else's like healing pieces.
Yeah, and I mean that it goes back to consent. Is that you have to? It's almost like with oracle cards or tarot cards. Like some people don't care if you touch them.
Right.
Some people
will
do.
Let you
like I don't care if you touch my oracle cards, but they're not organized now. But
but other people do not.
But some people don't want. It's almost like, have you ever heard about when you become a tarot card reader, like you should not go out and buy your own deck? Someone should gift it to you.
No.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
old.
that.
Yeah. It's you should
I'm
you
a
should
baby in this group,
you should have it gifted to you. But I also that's something I don't necessarily believe in now. All right. Does anyone have any questions about consent or no consent, permission or no permission? Does
Don't
fire
you-
ask permission to radiate heat? No.
Can I ask about
No,
chakra?
she's first.
Sorry.
You've
No,
asked
I'm-
enough.
I know.
Just gonna ask, don't you think some situations warrant positive energy to be sent?
To like raise the vibes?
Yes.
Bless you.
There's in my office, there's been a ton of negative energy in the last
But are you setting
4
it to the
months.
person or are you setting the energy of the building and in the space?
I don't know, I was just
Bless
saying
you.
Toki raised his way, and then I go in and sage before you get in the morning because he just had a very he was in a negative headspace.
Yeah. So I almost go ahead. You're going first.
Uh,
No, sorry.
So, I agree with that.
I didn't mean to touch you.
because I feel like you want to radiate.
Are you
that-
allergic
those,
to me?
those good vibes? I'm all about cleansing and then sending out that.
But is it raising the energy of the space? That way when someone comes into the
Into
space,
it, they're going to
then
feel,
you're naturally raising their vibrations.
yes.
I'm gonna add to that though.
Okay, here we go.
Workplace environment like that, anybody else's bad energy is going to be affecting your personal.
I agree.
Mhm.
So
And
if you're
that's-
working
and
I
on
agree.
the space and having the intention, like we're gonna clear that out.
I agree.
Because I'm not taking that off.
I agree.
Right.
So
And how
that's
many?
what I was
Yes.
doing, especially
Yes.
as an empath.
And I will
Very big
say,
empath.
For
I
me,
was taking it on.
it's setting up the energy of the space in which you're coming into. It's almost like setting up an energetic grid.
Yeah.
So, and it's setting the intention of like, how, like, do you set, I feel like you have like force fields, like energy, like when I come into your
Mhm.
shop, I'm automatically like going through a crystalline shower and it's transmuting negative energy. And when I come in, you're probably setting the intentions and the energy of, I feel
Yes,
at peace.
yes.
That's how I
Exactly.
feel. And I think for you're probably, I do the same thing at work too. Like I'll take my uncrossing oil because I don't want people to mess with me. I have crystals that are set up in my doorway. I have spray. And when the energy gets too heavy in the office, I'm like, So yes.
Without permission?
That's what I did. With
I am setting the energy of the space.
Oh.
You got me there. I asked the space, yes, because the space relies on my. Just kidding. No, I do ask the space. I do, and I do feel like it needs to be set. So yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you there because if
I
someone's
do that. Mhm.
well,
She
we're just whatever. I agree with setting the energy of the space.
When my husband says to me sometime, "Where are you going?" I'm going out
None of
to
your
send
fucking
joy and love throughout the land. And he'll be like, "Ah, all right."
I apologize for my cuss words. They're low vibe. But no, I do kind of agree. Like if somebody's going through a tough time and maybe they're a negative hair, I don't know. That's a good question. Because I like Jess's point too. Like, because they're affecting your physical energy.
Right.
But then we take another step and then have you set up your boundaries good enough to not have that negativity permeate into your energetic
It's
body?
either set up the energy or take the crystal and throw it at the person. So
Yeah.
HR basis, I'm just gonna go ahead and sage and.
So Jess said to take the crystal and throw it at their face. I agree
So-
with that.
So me having to shop in Albany,
Oh,
I have a lot of state workers, and I can't tell you how many times people have come in and they've said, "I think I'm good. My energy is good."
yeah.
But they're in those cubicles, and this one over here is gossiping, and this
Yeah.
one over here is, negative Nelly. So they'll put crystals in their
Someone's
space
laughing
and
at
grid
you.
it, and try to do that. When I was at the state, at that vendor event
Yeah.
for the state, so many people would come down and they would whisper to me, "I know Reiki."
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, do you do it upstairs? Yeah, but nobody knows. Like, it's all like a big secret.
It's like a covert
And it's
cult.
like, oh my God, if you guys, but that's how it was. But you
Yeah.
you couldn't tell your coworkers because they thought you were.
Yeah.
So, but I can remember this one guy said to me, I have plants and I have a fish, and he's just trying to make his little mecca,
Oasis.
and then he goes, I'm good, and I just hope that it just keeps spreading out, through the office and makes people happier.
I mean, yes. Okay, fine.
Ironically,
He
he's
quit.
been-
He's no
been
longer there.
home. No, he's been home telecommuting for the last 4
And is it
months, so I
better?
haven't- yeah. So it has, it's not.
It worked its
affecting
way out.
me except for when I have a call.
Yeah.
And he starts on the
Yeah.
negativity. So
It's hard
But-
because you do have, I mean, there are people in your life that are naturally, it's hard. They're negative and
Yeah.
it's hard to deal with. And it's always like, but then what do you do?
Hmm.
So you
And when I
say,
tell
shut the fuck up.
Well, I tell people that come
Just
in that
kidding.
are like, I feel like people are sending me negative, or this one person is sending me negative energy, and I'll be like, okay, listen, you're not gonna like this, but this is what you need to do: send light and love back. And they're like, what?
Well, when they go low, you go high.
Because I feel like what you put out,
You get back.
you get back.
Yeah.
So you can't send more negative energy back at that person that you think is sending negative energy. to
Because
you.
then it's almost like, I mean, the universe is going to respond to whatever remember, we're a mirror too.
Yeah.
Reflections of other
So
humans.
if we're trying, I mean, because remember, the universe isn't going to know if it's negative or positive.
Mhm.
It's just going to respond that energy back to yours.
Right.
But to wrap it up, because we're almost out of time, is do we send the healing with or without consent? I think in emergency situations, and if you guys are sending out for the best and highest good and you've set that intention, I think that's good as long as you know what you're doing and you are not certified in it, but yeah, you should be certified and you should know what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, regardless if you're a nurse, a practitioner, a singer, whatever, because that provides healing. You should know what you're doing and what you're sending out to people before you send it. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't be sloppy with your shit, is what I'm trying to say. Toni.
I'm not sloppy.
I didn't say you're slow.
It sounded like that.
Guys, Toni is
Oh my
amazing.
God.
If I go,
Just not me, just not
do
me.
I know? Do I?
I'm the messy one here.
You're not
I
messy,
feel
you're
like
fine.
You can definitely.
I like your ideas of you're sending it out, and to you, it's going to source, and universal energy will disseminate it to where it needs to go.
That is right.
And I do agree with that.
It's for everybody's.
And it's
highest
not
best.
it's not my way or the highway.
And yeah, I think my
Just
little Reiki energy, because I don't do prayer. I don't say that. I don't.
You don't
use
say
those
God,
words,
angels,
so-
universe.
Well, so I wrote this down in my notes. You said a prayer the other day, and you said, "Oh, Heavenly Father."
Oh, I did, and I normally don't say that.
And
Oh,
so
do you
that's
feel
not
that energy
something that
coming in?
resonates with me. Like I don't say that, but it's not like I didn't go, oh, I'm not even listening to this. Like I didn't say that
My
because
heart
I
is
used the word
broken.
spirit. So
My heart is broken.
I didn't say that. It's-
I said, "Oh, Heavenly Father and Mother God." I think I said.
I don't.
I did a
know.
I did a huge prayer.
We can look back at the video.
Listen, I got it.
Look, she's looking it up right now.
I
Oh my
have
God.
it. I have it written down. Go ahead.
But I'm just saying. I'm
Heavenly
I'm
Father,
open-
Mother
I'm
God.
open to the prayer. I'm open. I just use different words, so it doesn't matter. Her Heavenly Father is what I say spirit. So it doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
all-
matter.
It's all the same.
Intention.
It's all the
So
same.
Laura said
So
Tony's
session-
secretly converting everyone to the light side with her Reiki cookies. I want some cookies.
It's
Go
funny.
ahead.
I read this one analogy that was really cool though for sending Reiki energy out. It
Yeah.
was like, okay, the sun's out and it's shining. So some people will go out and sit in that sun for 6 hours and soak it up,
Yeah.
it up. Whereas somebody else might be like, I'm going to go out for my lunch break and get 10 minutes of sun.
Yeah.
It's okay. And other people are going to be like, I'm staying inside, but it's sunny out. But so I feel like that's how the Reiki
Yeah.
is. I love that.
Mm.
You take what you
need. This is what I did read. It says the essence of universal energy is non-dual, which means that everything is interconnected. There's no separation. It is only in our limited understanding that leads us to see things as separate. So everything is connected. So all healing is connected. We're all connected beings. You're still not going to get me convinced.
I love you, Rachel.
I love you too. So anything else before we wrap up our seconds?
Is it okay? I touched it.
Yes. You have my permission.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
definitely feel you need consent for a session.
I think if you're somebody setting up a session with you, I love the idea of sending it if there's an emergency to raise the vibes, to, because I think maybe, yeah, all right, you're moving me over a little bit on the pendulum. So I just want to thank everyone for coming live to our Spiritual Seekers live audience event, and everyone that watched us live on the internet. And I hope everyone has a great night.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Oh, I love the clapping.